to Uncovered Cars Daily. Went out for a drive review in one of the most fun cars you can get with 152 horsepower. This is the 2019 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross. On a sandy road down here in South Carolina. Alright, so Eclipse Cross. Oh my god. The handling is actually really fun and pretty tail out, which is cool. Alright, so 2019 Eclipse Cross. Very fun little compact crossover, perhaps subcompact crossover. Competing with the likes of the Honda HR-V, Toyota CHR, Ford EcoSport, Nissan Rogue Sport, and lots of other vehicles that that are going after what would be compact car shoppers in another year, but these days are all going for SUVs. So, what Mitsubishi, right? A kind of a write-off of a brand. Well, actually not anymore. So, in the last couple of years, they've been the fastest growing Asian brand in the US, and for good reason. Their cars are getting really, really good. After the takeover from Nissan, there's been a huge tech infusion. So, that includes Apple CarPlay, as well as lots of other goodies. So, what's the structure of this review? So, we're basically going to be doing the handling loop here and doing some enthusiastic driving. And while we're doing that, we'll talk about where the Eclipse Cross fits in the lineup, what's great about it, and some wish list things at the end. All right. So basically, Mitsubishi was not a super impressive brand for a long time, but they've really got their act together. And this Eclipse Cross slides in above the Outlander Sport and below the Outlander. So it stickers from about 23K. And has very good, stickers from about 23K for the base model that also has standard LED daytime running lights and display audio and good stuff like that. And then you can go up to the LE and like the SE or the SP or something that have really cool blacked out trims and are very cool in their own way, but a little less well equipped. And then an SE, and finally the SEL Premium, which we're in today. By the way, all the trims above the base one have standard all-wheel drive that Mitsubishi calls SAWC, like S-AWC. So, very, sort of a part-time all-wheel drive system, but it does have switchable settings, auto, snow, and gravel, and a little bit of a foggy windshield here, but it'll work itself out. So, this Eclipse Cross basically slides in above the previous Outlander and is like 1,000 times better. I mean, easily, this car is so much better than the Outlander Sport. I mean, not to poo-poo that car, but it'll become their economy offering at this point, just above the Mirage with stickers from like Mirage from like 15K, Outlander Sport from about 20K, and then this Eclipse Cross from about 23. So what makes it so impressive and so different than previous Mitsubishis? So much stuff. Well, first things first, let's talk about the drivetrain. So this is a 1.5 liter turbocharged motor with an 8-step sport CVT automatic. Of course, when enthusiasts hear the word CVT, it's like, your eyes gloss over, and it's just you imagine the worst of CVTs from yesteryear. This one's pretty good. Genuinely, it's pretty good. I think if you didn't know it was a CVT and you didn't know cars, you would never know it had something weird going on there. Okay, so we'll do the paddle shifters down to second. So first off, it's got great Evo style paddle shifters. Man, really, really a lot of windshield fog. But okay, so this CVT is actually decent. Power is 152 from the 1.5T and 184 foot-pounds of torque at 2,000 RPM all the way to 3,500. So this is a flat pedal start, shift. At 60. It's basically just it's a CVT without the drone. It actually really does. So then we'll paddle shift down, 6th, 5th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. It's actually pretty effective. So we've been driving around with the all-wheel control in gravel just to have a little bit of a more rear biased default, and so this drivetrain is really good, genuinely entertaining, pretty peppy around town. and it keeps the engine on boil even on the highway. So that means like 2,500 RPMs at about 80 or 75 miles an hour. So you've still got power in reserve without it needing to downshift. The one area that this CVT is not as good as a traditional automatic is that like the actual downshifts are a little bit, I mean, it definitely downshifts and it does quickly. There's just not, I mean, that could be the fault. There's just not a ton of power available. And so the downshifts don't bring like a giant surge forward. So passing is not its strongest suit, but overall drive demeanor and manners are terrific, and it feels very peppy and enthusiastic. This is easily one of the most friendly and easy to drive cars that I've been in a long time. It reminds me of the Nissan Rogue and how you can just get in and it feels perfect. The seating position, visibility, everything just feels so perfect and controllable. So that drivetrain is really impressive for Mitsubishi, but really the biggest shocker is the cabin refinement and the technology. So Mitsu's, you know, love them to death, love the Evo, but you know, even Evo owners will probably admit that their cabins have not been very refined or very high quality in feel, and road refinement has been pretty lousy traditionally in Mitsubishis. So this Outlander Sport really banishes all of that by having like really good comfort and really good noise isolation. Great seats, good soft touch materials, gloss black, and then like silver accented elements. When you first get in this car, it genuinely feels luxurious, and I think that sense is really comes out of the fact that this car has a very rigid body structure. It's much more rigid than Outlander Sport, for example, which is a very old design at this point. And it feels, with that rigidity, just super insulated and super refined. So probably about an 8.6 to an 8.8 sprint to 60, but very peppy. You know, that turbo motor does a lot for having tons of low-end torque and a lot of great drivability. So beyond the refinement, which is terrific, which I think is much better than any Mitsu before, and better than the Honda HR-V for sure, and I think better than the Jeep Renegade and Fiat 500X too, which I would say are the closest competitors to this car, as well as like the EcoSport, which just feels a lot smaller and less substantial than this Eclipse Cross. So the other really surprising thing about this car is all of the technology. So in addition to Mitsu's relationship with Rockford Fosgate, we've got 700 watt, I said 700 horsepower. We got 700 watt Rockford Fosgate stereo system with big stereo in the trunk, and then lots of other cool technology. Let's see if it'll actually launch. So other cool technology, electronic parking brake, auto hold, for example, which I love. So we'll do a little brake torque launch. I've got the saucy control showing the torque split front and back. It basically just shows you the throttle position. But I mean, this dash feels really good. CarPlay is really well integrated. Everything works super easily. You know, you got your Pandora or Google Maps or something. You know, you got all your stuff right there. So it's really the technology there is pretty impressive. Of course, this is the SEL trim level. That's like at 32K. But it's not just this SEL that gets good tech. They've all got this display audio, eco modes, LED headlights, very cool LED tail lights, this touchscreen controller. Oh yeah, I forgot I could do all the touchscreens.
Would you like to make a call or check your voicemail?
No thanks. All right, so you got all of this. You've got this nice like sort of laptop style pad here for control, heated seats front and rear, giant twin pane moonroof, power sunshade for the back area, which is pretty cool. So we said auto hold. You've got LED headlights on this top SEL model, auto folding mirrors. I'm not sure if you can see from the outside, and then the LED headlights themselves have a height adjustment. You know, like some of those, some of the really big tow trucks and likely the Mitsubishi's largest SUVs have this feature too, and they included it here, which is cool because then you can make the most of how great the LED lights are and just turn them up higher without having your actual high beams on. So that's pretty nice. You've also got auto high beam control on this car, which is cool. And good handling. When you use the pedal shifters, it will stay in gear. So the next time you hit the gas, like, you're really going to be wondering why it's not downshifting or doing anything. It's just because it's still in gear. But you know, that's a nice thing overall. So this technology is really impressive, not just for the loaded model, but from Mitsubishi in general, and then in this class as well. It's just really cool to see. Oh, and I forgot the heads-up display. So the heads-up display shows your speed, and then like your active cruise control and other like safety warnings, which is cool. So you probably can't see the display, but you can probably see this little clear plexiglass panel here. So what's its cool party trick? It powers away. It whirs away, and it has and then has a nice classy cover that comes over it and makes it so there's like there's not a hole in the dashboard, basically. It's just really cool and a nice execution of the technology that might otherwise be, you know, that might otherwise just be kind of like, I don't know, just a little dull. So they've just really spiced it up and it made it feel really cool and premium. And I think they've done a great job with that. So other cool tech before we keep going. So we got like auto dimming mirror, home link, the SOS buttons here, you know, power sunshades like we said for the moonroof. It's just really, really well equipped. The only thing it doesn't have is our cooled seats. So you know, that takes a while to get in every segment. Also got great active safety features, including forward collision mitigation, lane keep, active cruise, and some other stuff. Rear cross traffic, lots of other stuff. I mean, this car is bang up to date, which is just so unusual for this price and size class, and then also for Mitsubishi in general. So I'm really, really impressed with the Outlander Sport, even more so after doing a little driving on sand today. The handling is very, very frisky and enthusiastic. On pavement, you can't really feel the all-wheel drive system beyond just like, you know, really trusty and reliable and sticky handling feel all the time. But on the sand, there's barely any front end push, and you can tell that there's actually some serious power going to the rear end, which is pretty cool. Before I'd gone on the sand, I would have estimated it could shift like about 15 to 20% of power to the back, but now I think it can actually go to like, you know, probably up to probably about 35 or 40% of power can go to the rear axle, which is very cool. Pretty fun little car, great pricing, great style, and overall just a lot of appeal for people who might have bought a compact car back maybe 10 or 15 years ago, but now everybody wants an SUV, and for good reason. I mean, this one's terrific. Fuel economy is still very good in the high 20s, and your overall luxury sense and luxury and tech future-proofing is all there. So go drive this Outlander, this Eclipse Cross. It's very nice to have the Mitsubishi Eclipse name back in the market, even if it has a cross on the end. And you'll be shocked at how good it is. I mean, it's really, really terrific. Thanks a lot. See you guys next time. This is Tom Burkhart from Car of Staley.